What's up, good people? Welcome to Alex Real Deal Reviews. So, I will be doing weekly reviews of the new Ryan Murphy produced show, American Horror Stories, which will consist of 7 episodes that aren't technically connected, although episodes 1 and 2 are. But I do believe the remaining episodes do follow the anthology route, so I'm a little behind on this first review, so this might be a bit rough because I'm reading straight from my notes. I saw this episodes a week ago, and I've just been too lazy to record. Sorry, charge it to my mind, not my heart, okay? But yeah, moving forward, I'll try to get these out a day or two after the episodes come out. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Since this is a 2-parter, which by the way, it's very unnecessary. Episode 1 ended so perfectly, there was no need for a part 2, but I'll get into that later. So, we are back at Murder House, where it all started. Wow, I never thought white people would still be buying this house. So many people have died, and it's been documented. It's crazy why anybody would still buy it. Like, even if you don't believe in ghosts, you believe in death, and bukus of people have died there, and I just don't understand. Nothing good has come from this house except the 20,000 Ryan Murphy productions based off of it. So this episode for me is just pretty much a countdown of how long before someone dies. And lo and behold, the first box ain't even unpacked yet, and the daughter, Scarlett, already has on a leather suit. And you know what? That's Murder House for you, So she snaps out of it, and on to the next day, where we have a typical high school scene, a little teasing, some jokes here and there, little eye flirting, just another day in high school. So one of the popular girls seemed to be paying some extra attention to her, and she's pretty interested. So this seems like a setup to me, and I was right. But before we get there, we find out later in a family therapy session that apparently this Scarlet girl has been through quite a lot. She got kidnapped as a kid and was held captive for 10 days, they said. I don't remember. But her dads, which I haven't even mentioned them because that's how unimportant they were to these episodes to me. But hey, love wins, and I was very happy to see 2 dads and their child on the screen. Very lovely family. I love that. So take that, bigots. Anywho. But yeah, the dads feel like this may be the reason that, Scarlett has these very dark thoughts and feelings, as it pertains to sex and pain, to the point where they kind of call her a masochist. And the therapist made a pretty good point. Maybe y'all shouldn't be in this dark-spirited house with your potentially dark-spirited daughter. Go figure. So, let me tell you how Ryan Murphy hates black women. This therapist was there for 2 seconds, and somehow she's the first person killed without anyone noticing. What? People don't walk guests out anymore? Y'all don't do that? What was the reason, Ryan? Why? I was disgusted. And you know what? If you want to make it up to me, Mr. Murphy, hire me. I'll put all my info in the description box. So, moving on. Little girl, she sneaks out the house to this slumber party with the popular girls from school, and it goes exactly how I thought. And, they do some pretty bad things. And now she's hurt and embarrassed and vengeful. And that's all the house needed. So she calls the girls and tells them that if they don't come over her house right now, she's going to kill herself and tell everyone it was because they outed her. And, she goes on to tell him about a similar situation where some kids got jail time for doing this exact same thing. And, of course, they're scared and they head over. Now, listen. I would have just took the jail time because I'm not going in that house knowing what I know. Like, jail me. I don't care. The girls, they finally make it to the house and boom, murder house gets busy and the leather students start slicing and dicing and that's all she wrote. They're all dead now. Shocker. Should have called Kamala. Oh, they're gonna flag this episode. Oops. And yeah, the next day, it's like nothing happens. The dads walk in on Scarlett plastering up the wall with 4 freshly dead bodies in him. And you know what? Side note, whatever sleep aid the dads were using, they need to advertise, because how the hell did they sleep through a massacre? That's how I'm trying to sleep. Through a massacre. Well, maybe not exactly a massacre, but sleep well, But yeah, that was pretty much the end of the episode. Them and their serial killer daughter enjoying Murder House. Now, when I started episode 2, I didn't know it was part 2. So when I saw Scarlett, I kind of got thrown off a bit. And honestly, I stayed off because I did not think they needed a part 2, because part 1 ended exactly how it needed to end. And yeah, this episode was a bit of a letdown. Opening scene was Ghost Wars. Like, there was some random ghosts killing one of the random nurse ghosts, and I was very confused. I didn't know what was happening. And then this random ghost hops in the tub with Scarlett, and it's later established that they are together in a couple of probably 3 weeks? I don't know. Love moves fast, right? But yeah, and fast forward, it's been a couple of months since the massacre and the disappearance of the 4 girls, and obviously the cops are very suspicious of Scarlett, and they should be, because she did it. And there's also some evidence against her. The dads, I honestly believe deep down they feel like she did something, and they kind of dismiss the cops, throwing that good old Lori line out there. And yeah, that's like the beginning of this episode. Not really much to it. It was very lackluster to me. Probably 10 to 15 minutes worth of good episode here, So let's fast forward. Murder House starts collecting bodies within 2 minutes. The house contractor finds the dead bodies in the wall. Then, for some reason, he kills the assistant and tries to blackmail the dads. Then, guess what? Contractor gets killed. Duh. Murder House. And then the dads freak out, try to leave the house, realize they have been killed. And Ruby, who I find out is the random ghost, is the one who killed them. And, just the backstory on her. She's a teenager who committed suicide in the house. They get noticed, and it didn't work. Yeah. And now she's dating Scarlett, another teenager. And, she doesn't want her to leave, so she kills her dads. So she'll have more incentive to stay. That's quite an incentive. Let me kill your parents so you can't leave me. And you know what? Scarlett is a horrible person. She didn't care one bit that her ghost girlfriend killed her dads. Like, I didn't see a bit of remorse in her. She didn't say, sorry, yeah, my girlfriend killed you. None of that. But, hey, that's Murder House. Okay, yeah, so let's wrap this episode up. It's Halloween, and that's when the ghosts can roam free, and pretty much Ghost Wars Endgame starts. The little murdered girl clique, they're trying to kill Scarlett, and Ruby ain't having that. So, They get into it, blah, blah, boom, boom. Yeah. We back at the house, and Scarlett, she tells Ruby that she doesn't want to be trapped at Murder House, so she's leaving. And then Scarlett apologizes to her murdered classmates for killing and trapping them in the house forever. And everyone is like, okay, cool. What? We just cool in the gang now. Okay. Absolutely ridiculous. Which sums up part 2 perfectly. Yeah, like I said, I wasn't too fond of this episode, if you can't tell. I actually wish that it would have just been more of a Ruby episode and gotten more into her backstory. I think that would have been better. But hey, I'm not a writer. So yeah, that was the first 2 episodes of American Horror Stories. Though part 2 was a bit of a letdown, I am excited for the remaining episodes because part 1 was really good. So here's the hope in episode 3 is not part 3. All right, thanks for listening, and I'm off to the next review.